This is Dan Diggs here reporting for Press for Truth, and as I'm sure you've probably already heard by now, there's a new COVID-19 variant, the B.1.1.259, I believe it is. It's now actually officially called the Omicron, and this has actually sent some of the markets taken quite a bit of a dip over the weekend. The cryptocurrency space, for example, is significantly down. The stock market is down, the Dow Jones is down, the S&P 500 is down, but interestingly, the precious metals space, in particular gold, has managed to weather the storm and has actually fared well. And this has me thinking that it's still not only a good hedge against inflation, but it's also a good hedge against COVID uncertainty. And I'm sure there's going to be more of that coming down the pike. So joining me right now to talk about all of this and much, much more is Nick Luksha. He is the president and director of Prospect Ridge Resources. ProspectRidgeResources.com is the website. Sir, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us here today. Now, I wanted to get your views on where you see these markets going in the midst of this COVID-1984 nightmare we're all dealing with here. But before we get into that, maybe you could start us off on where you sit on the inflation debate. I mean, there's a lot of people who are still of the opinion that there's nothing to worry here, just have no fear, whereas other people are thinking this might be heading into a time of hyperinflation. What do you think? Do you see it currently as being transitory, or is it more structural and long-lasting?
Hey, Dan, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, and good question. We're definitely living in uncertain times, and everybody was hoping that we were coming out of the pandemic. Now we've got a new variant. Not totally sure. It's a bit scary, and we don't know what's coming down the pipe. Markets are down, but gold is up. And as they say, cash is king, but gold is better. It's a safe bet. It's something that's going to keep going up in the future, and I think it's somewhere that you could safely put your money and be confident that it's a good bet for you and your family.
Do you see, what do you see in terms of real-world inflation here? And do you agree with people like Jack Dorsey, for example, who says we may be heading into a time of hyperinflation?
Well, we're definitely heading into a time of inflation. There's no question there. It's just a matter of how much. The way I look at things is you definitely want to make safe bets on your future. So I would do things that you know are going to protect you regardless of how much inflation goes up. And once again, gold is better than cash.
Yeah, one other area that a lot of people are looking into now is the cryptocurrency space. I don't know, do you follow that much at all? Do you pay any attention to what's been going on with Bitcoin?
A little bit. It's crazy. I, like everyone else, wish I'd bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, but I didn't. So here we are. I've dabbled a little bit on a personal level in investing in some of it. But frankly, as much as it's been an amazing investment for people over the last decade, it's backed by nothing. It's not backed by a country. It's in thin air. So, gold's real. You can hold it in your hand. It has a value. It's the oldest currency on the planet. It's something that's never going to go away and is never going to be a bad investment.
Well, some people who are trying to hedge themselves against inflation figure they gotta choose maybe one of the two. Is it possible for the two to kind of work in tandem, side by side, or are they going to end up competing with one another?
Well, it doesn't hurt to diversify. I learned that a long time ago, that when you diversify your portfolio, that can be a good move for the future. However, I would stick with what's real that you can hold in your hand. It's like owning real estate. God's only making so much, and it can never go to zero.
Well, speaking of that, it seems like we're heading to a time where the central banks are going to be raising rates, and we know that gold appreciates when they do that generally. So how profitable is the mining industry going to be moving forward in the case of like a currency crisis?
It's going to go up, and it's always going to go up, and this type of a situation definitely helps precious metals, especially gold. Yeah.
Well, how difficult has it been to find these mines, like gold, silver, and these deposits in general? I mean, I know there's new technology coming out all the time, but what's it been like in your experience?
It's a tough industry. I think the statistic is that 1 in 10,000 mining companies actually become successful. So it's not easy. We're fortunate that we're in a very mineral-rich area of the globe, being just south of the Golden Triangle in British Columbia. We're being led by a guy who's a home run hitter who's hit one success after another. And we named the property the Holy Grail for the reason, because people spend their entire lives searching for that that holy grail, and we found it in this mineral-rich zone that is up north here in British Columbia.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, a little bit about the project, and who are some of these other key players besides yourself who's involved?
We're very fortunate to be led by a fellow named Michael Iverson. Mike is the ex-chairman, co-founder of Fortuna Silver. Fortuna Silver had a max market cap under his leadership of about 1.8 billion. They've pulled, I think, 2.5 billion to date of silver out of the ground. This is an extremely successful company. He had Osisko Mining, who's a giant, come and buy him out. He's also been a part of Nile Gold. He's been a part of Volcanic. Excuse me. And so this is a very, very successful mining executive, and we're very lucky to have him as our leader.
And as I understand it, inside ownership of the company is at around 60%. Is that true? And can you talk a bit about that?
It is true. We have some very big players that are part of our team. We've got a couple billionaire families, one who's about half a billionaire, and then many others that are just very strong, savvy business people. A good number of these big people, they've been investing with Michael for the last 30 years. A handful of them are people that I've brought in as well. And these are also people that are not looking to make a short-term gain. They're in this for the long run. They're in this to be a part of Mike doing another big, massive, successful exit. One of the benefits about people that are this wealthy is that they don't get excited about making $2-3 million bucks. They get excited about making 20 or 30. So they're not looking to sell their shares. They want to hold, and they want us to prove up how much gold we really have in the ground. It could be 3 million ounces. It could be 30. So we'll find out.
Well, speaking of that, I know that in the region that you're operating in, the stocks are going up 700%, 1,000% in some cases. They're rallying. What do you think the actual potential is here, considering these other successes?
Well, I consider those companies to be great measuring sticks against our company, because when you see it being done like that, you know it's entirely possible, and we knew it was already. But having direct comparables that are essentially our neighbors is great to see. We know we can do what they've done, if maybe not better. So, stay tuned. Once again, it's going to come down to how much gold we really have in the ground. All signs are pointing to a lot, but we're going to find out what a lot is.
Now, right now, we're seeing a lot of talk about potential supply chain breakdown issues. We're seeing potential, food shortages, prices, commodities going through the roof, grocery stores, everything is going up. What do you think this is going to mean for gold in 2022? I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball or anything like that, but if we continue to head into these troubling times, where do you see this going?
Good question. I actually like the fact you used the word crystal ball, because I've been saying for the last 6 months that I wish I had one, for the reason that I wish I knew how big this was really going to go. I wish I could look 6 months into the future, 12 months into the future, because I know it's going to go well. I just want to know how well. It's like Christmas morning to a lot of us. Every day we're so excited because, we've got a tiger by its tail and going to make the most of it. But the way we see this going is it's going to be incredibly profitable and a great ride for everybody involved. And I look forward to finding out exactly where we go with it.
Now, on this channel, we've talked a lot about the potential for a dollar crash. Not just the potential, but the inevitability of it. Do you see that as potentially coming down the pike as well? In the event of something as extreme as that, where would that position gold?
Well, I can tell you that on a personal level, I certainly hope that doesn't happen. On a business level, it is entirely possible. And to be frank, it would help us, because gold's going to go up, and like I keep saying, we've got a ton of gold, so it's going to be beneficial to our company and all our shareholders.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys sitting on any debt at the moment?
Zero debt. Zero debt. We've got close to $5 million bucks in the bank. We've got millions more coming. We are in a phenomenally strong position, so we're gonna make the most of this, and it's going to be a great ride.
And currently mining, or what are some of the major milestones you would say you have set out for 2022?
So we currently have 4 spots that are drill ready to hit in the spring, and we're proving up about 4 to 6 more. The beautiful thing about the geographical setting of our property is that a lot of it's actually quite lower elevation. We're relatively close to the Pacific Ocean, so the weather's mild, and our prospecting team can work through the winter. Now, there are places up on top of the mountains that are covered in snow, and we're not going to go to them till spring at this point. However, we got ample room to work on our 80,000 hectares that our guys are going to keep banging on rocks. So we're going to have a steady inflow of samples going to the labs, which means results coming back and good things to put out into the market as they come in. And we're set to hit it hard with 10,000 meters, maybe 20,000 meters of drilling in the spring.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's big. Where would you say right now is the best place for people to go online if they want to learn more about the company, and what are the tickers and stuff like that so people can know?
So on the Canadian Stock Exchange, we're PRR. OTC in America, we are PRRSF. And then over in Europe on the Frankfurt, we're OED. So you can watch our website. We're posting our news regularly, or follow us on the stock market. We're going to have lots of stuff to talk about in the coming months as our results roll in.
Yeah, are you on any social media sites like Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, our company's set up on IG, on Twitter, and we'll be posting all our news on there as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Any final thoughts just for, heading into this, as I often say, just times of uncertainty into 2022. I mean, we don't know what's going on with this coronavirus thing. We don't know what's going on with the Biden administration, if there's going to be wars in the Middle East. We don't know where we're heading into in 2022, but would you agree it still feels like a time to hedge oneself against times of uncertainty?
Absolutely. And the thing is that if you can put yourself in a safe position now by putting your money into stuff like gold, when we do come out of this, you're going to be in a much better position to take advantage of all the opportunities that present themselves once the market's actually roaring. Yeah. So, I'd say play it safe, put your money in places now that will set you up in a good position that when things do take off, you're in the best position to buy a home, buy a car, invest in a business, or whatever else it is that you have going on in your life, whatever your goals are, to set yourself up so you have the best opportunity when the markets start, going the right direction.
Yeah, now seems to be a pretty good opportunity to me. Would you see this past, COVID variant as causing cause for concern for people to want to get involved into this space here now?
Yeah, if we went back 2 years in time and had talked about whether COVID was going to be a real thing and last long, people would have laughed at it. Look at us, we're almost 2 years into it, and we've got another variant. People are vaccinated and they're still getting sick. These are strange times. We don't really know when it's going to end. Obviously, we all hope sooner than later. But I just say play it safe and put your money in things like gold and get ready for when things turn around.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now, I would say we're beyond crunch time, and it seems like one of those kind of buy the dip opportunities over this past weekend. So if you guys are interested in checking all this out, please, once again, check all the links located in the description below. We're going to have the tickers down there as well. So once again, Nick, thanks so much for breaking this all down for us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.